Hi dear Aries, welcome to my YouTube channel, and in this video I'm going to talk about the transits for the month of November. Right now, as I'm recording this, we are in the middle of the eclipse season, between two eclipses, so the energies are very intense, hectic, but not in a bad way. It's just like there is this sense of intensity in the air. And for you Aries, November is mostly an eighth house themed month, because the sun is in your eighth house, the sun in Scorpio. Uh, Towards the end of the month, on 21st, the sun is gonna enter Sagittarius, your ninth house. Yeah, but like most of the month, it's the focus is on your eighth house matters: shared resources, finances, psychology, intensity, like not intensity. Well, yeah, I guess intimacy. Yes, not intensity. Yeah, intimacy. Um, Death and rebirth, those themes, and look at nature. We see death like of the nature, right? Getting ready for winter, letting old things go. So those are all Scorpio themes. And the thing about this year's Scorpio season is that we have two giants, Uranus and Jupiter, in the opposing sign of Scorpio, in Taurus. Okay, so that means whatever planets that are going through Scorpio, they're going to be making an opposition to those two planets. So let's see what we have in November. At the very beginning of November, on the 3rd, we have the Sun in Scorpio making an opposition to Jupiter in Taurus. I mean, Jupiter is a benefic planet, so even when it's involved in a bad aspect, it still produces like something that is not too bad. Yeah, and so when we have an opposition between the Sun and Jupiter, is that, and for you Aries, that's in your second house, so my money and then my partner's money, and there will be an opposition. There will be a need to talk and discuss those things, I guess. And then what else? Jupiter is also beliefs, so beliefs around those matters, shared resources, commitment, yeah, like material possessions, I guess. But this is a very short-term aspect. It's active for only a day or two, and I wouldn't worry too much about this. And so another aspect on November 3rd is Venus in Virgo is going to make an opposition to Neptune in Pisces. Now this one, again, we have a benefic involved. Venus is a minor benefic, and it's going to make an opposition to Neptune. Yeah, well, Neptune, it's foggy, delusional, you could even say. Yeah, and Venus, love, so I guess we can be a bit delusional about love on that day. Like, close our eyes on, like, things, I guess, like some things that shouldn't be ignored. But anyway, again, this is a short term aspect, and it happens every year, so. And what else? On November 4th, we have a continuation of this opposition energy, because Scorpio Mercury is going to make an opposition to Uranus in Taurus. And so here it's like flashes of brilliance, I guess, because Uranus is sudden things, and it's very much mental. Uh, Uranus is considered to be like the higher octave of Mercury. So, and since we have Mercury involved as well, so I'm assuming it's like brilliant ideas, like sudden flashes of it. Yeah. What else? So yeah, in the beginning of November, we have those three oppositions. So within yourself, imagine like this side and this side, they're like in opposition. Uh, Another thing on November 4th is that we have Saturn stationing direct in Pisces. Finally, like if you remember, Saturn started retrograding in Pisces on the 7th degree of Pisces in June. And now it's going to station direct on the very first degree of Pisces, the 0th degree of Pisces. And the 0th degree is the very first degree, so it's very potent, it's very strong. And Aries, for you, that is your 12th house. 12th house is, it's like the very last house, actually. It's a very isolated house, spiritual house. So you have been probably um, resolving matters regarding those themes, because Saturn is like the inspector. Imagine you are a branch of some big company, and I don't know, you get this annual visit from an inspector who comes and like makes sure everything is working fine, and if something is not working, he's gonna let that go. He's gonna, yeah. So basically, that's what Saturn is. And when it comes into your 12th house, so I guess all the subconscious things that have been bothering you, you will need to address those eventually in the next 2 years. Isolation. I don't know why I say isolation, because like I'm an Aries myself, and Saturn is in my 12th house, and I live by myself now. So I guess karmically I need to resolve those things. Like I need to live by myself in order to solve Saturn matters. Um, we'll see, but it doesn't mean we're gonna be like isolated and lonely for 2 years. No, it doesn't mean that. Um, what else? So when Saturn stations direct in Pisces, that means we have only 3 planets left in retrograde, and those are Jupiter, Uranus, and Neptune. Yeah, so only 3 planets are retrograde, and that is good, because when too many planets are retrograde, it's frustrating. It's very slow. But when fewer planets are retrograde, things flow easier. Yeah. None of the inner planets are retrograde, thankfully, this month. So our daily life, daily routine should be just fine. Like there won't be misunderstandings, miscommunications, or romance problems, which is good. And what else? On November 5th, we have the last quarter moon in Leo. Why am I mentioning this? Well, it's because it marks the beginning of a week where not much happens. So on November 5th, we are like in the middle of, right in between a full moon and a new moon. So that means we have only 1 week left until new moon, and so it's a great time to wrap things up that started with the new moon of the previous month. It's a great time to get ready for the next new moon. Okay, and what else? Excuse me. So what else? Yeah, and rest. Yes, I wanted to mention that. Rest. Make sure you get enough rest after this. It's like naturally our bodies need to recharge and get ready and gain energy for the next month. On November 8th, we have Venus entering Libra. Venus loves being in Libra. It's its home. Imagine a pink Barbie mansion. That's Venus in Libra. That's where Venus loves being. Venus for the previous month, slightly more than a month, it has been in Virgo, and Venus hates being in Virgo. Yeah, so Venus in Virgo is this popular girl with like long nails and designer clothes, being forced to, like, I don't know, do janitor's job. That's what Venus in Virgo is. But on November 8th, Venus is finally gonna enter Libra. And for you, Aries, that means Venus is gonna enter your relationship house. Yeah, so it should be nice. And so our relationships will get this like sweet boost, like charming energy, like romance will be in the air. Yeah, and since we had like an eclipse recently in that area of our lives, it should be good. So when Venus reaches that degree, the eclipse was on the 21st degree of Libra. So when Venus reaches that degree, we're gonna get like a pleasant news, I guess, associated with that eclipse. Yeah. Um, on November 10th, Mercury is gonna enter Sagittarius. Mercury usually spends like a couple of weeks, 18 days, like it sprints through a sign, so we don't notice it that much. It just means that for the next 3 weeks, starting from November 10th, we're gonna be focusing on philosophical ideas, our personal beliefs, the big picture. Yeah, we're gonna emerge from those Scorpionic themes and thoughts, like intensity, passion, and we're finally gonna be able to like look at things more positively. Yeah, because Sagittarius is a very optimistic sign. But the thing is, on November 10th, as soon as Mercury enters Sagittarius, it's gonna make a square to Saturn in Pisces. And Saturn, you know, it's a very pessimistic planet. So Even though Sagittarius is optimistic, on that day something is gonna block our optimism. I don't know, something is gonna frustrate us. But thankfully, again, it's a temporary transit. Yeah. And what else? On November 11th, Mars is gonna make an opposition to Uranus in Taurus. This aspect screams impulse to me. Yeah, because Mars is a very impulsive planet. Uranus is also kind of impulsive. It's like sudden events, sudden surprises. So when those two get together, it's like some impulsive action is guaranteed. Yeah. So on November 11th, I guess you will have lots of like energy, especially like nervous energy, I guess, because Uranus is like our nervous system and Mars activates things. Yeah, but again, a temporary energy. Mm, on November 13th, finally, we have a new moon in Scorpio. Mm, so this new moon is gonna be on the 20th degree of Scorpio, and it's gonna be making an opposition to Uranus in Taurus. So this new moon, it's not an eclipse, and I think this is the first new moon in Scorpio in the past 2 years that is not an eclipse, and so it's a relief. And so, and this is a new moon after the eclipse, so it should be peaceful, but still we have that opposition from Uranus, so there will be some sort of surprise. Like Uranus is always surprises, and as long as you know, as long as you are aware, it should be fine. Sometimes those surprises are pleasant, like unexpected surprises. So it can actually be fun. So what else did I want to mention? Around November 13th, like 4 days before or 4 days after, you can expect news announcements, decisions, and also this is the first new moon after the solar eclipse in Libra, and that means you might receive the news, the events associated with that Libra solar eclipse around this new moon in Scorpio. That happens sometimes. I'm not saying it's gonna be true for all Aries, but for some, yes, it's going to be the case. So if you think, oh, nothing happened to me during the Libra solar eclipse, it didn't bring anything new, I would say like be observant around this new moon, because it can bring those events, and it can be especially surprising because we have the involvement of Uranus in Taurus. Yeah. And what else? So on November 22nd, so after that new moon, we don't have anything going on really, like anything significant going on until like November 22nd. That's when the sun is going to enter Sagittarius, and Libra Venus is going to make an opposition to Chiron in Aries. Yeah, and so uh, the sun is going to enter Sagittarius, your ninth house. So your mind is going to focus more on like, I don't know, the big picture, traveling, this joy for life, this voracious appetite for experiences, for enjoying life. Yeah, that's their Sagittarius energy. Some areas you guys are probably planning on going on a vacation around this time, traveling. I would say this is a great time to travel because the sun is in your ninth house. Yeah, and then that opposition between Libra, Venus, and Chiron is it's some sort of healing because Chiron is a wound, so healing wounds around relationships. But this sounds as if like all of your problems are going to disappear after this aspect. I'm making it sound like that, but obviously that's not the case, right? And Chiron, even though it is very much an influential placement, I don't know, planet, it's not a planet, like Chiron does influence us, but it's not that big of an influence. Yeah. And so even though there might be some minor cases of like healing and love, you might not notice it. That's what I wanted to mention. On November 18th, I forgot to mention that we have the conjunction of Scorpio Sun and Mars. This is important. This is an important aspect because we don't have Sun and Mars conjunctions every year. Like I think it happens only every year and a half. Yes, and since this is happening, this conjunction is happening in Scorpio, this is like double important because Mars co-rules Scorpio. So this is gonna start a new cycle for Mars. And for you, Aries, this is happening in your 8th house. So intimacy, shared resources. So you might reach some sort of agreement with your partner about, like, I don't know, paying rent together, moving in together. Yeah, like I don't know, some new level in intimacy in relationships. Yeah, like new level of depth, I guess. Does that make sense? This aspect can mark the beginning of that. Yeah, so what else? So after this conjunction on November 18th, Mars is gonna leave Scorpio and it's gonna enter Sagittarius on November 24th. And so again, you already have the Sun in Sagittarius, and then Mars is gonna join the Sun in Sagittarius. So you can see the planets start crowding in your 9th house. So from all of the psychological, uh, deep, mysterious stuff, you kind of emerge and want to go as far as possible. Maybe even feel like running away from your problems, because that is also a Sagittarius energy. Like, so we'll see. Next, and finally, at the very end of the month, we have a full moon in Gemini, on the 4th degree of Gemini. So, dear Aries, for you, that is your 3rd house and 9th house. The moon is going to be in your 3rd house. The sun is going to be in your 9th house. So, the 3rd house is the house of communication, siblings, transportation, short term travel. Uh, Writing, communication, as I said. Yeah, so all of those things are 3rd house matters. And the sun is in your 9th house. 9th house is the house of the big picture and higher education, faraway lands, religions, and like everything foreign and exotic. So those two, the luminaries will be illuminating those two houses. Uh, and since full moons are culminations, it can indicate that you will finish some writing project, I guess. Some Aries, if you have been writing something. Uh, what else? Some maybe you will get a new phone, because the 3rd house, communication. Phone is communication. Phones are ruled by the 3rd house. What else? The 3rd house, something about your car, maybe. Mm, culmination, illumination. Maybe you'll find out that your car needs some repair, that there is some big problem with your car. It's possible. What else? And maybe some news in your sibling's life. Yeah, some maybe important milestone or something in your sibling's life. Because also this full moon is the first full moon after that Taurus lunar eclipse. Yeah, so the event associated with that lunar eclipse might manifest around this full moon. So do pay attention. If you feel like, oh, nothing happened to me around that lunar eclipse, I would say, like, well, pay attention. Maybe it will happen around this full moon. So this is it, dear Aries. November is pretty boring, even though like it's right after the eclipses. But I guess that's for good. And so that full moon in Gemini is means that after this, the eclipse energy is done. I mean, the eclipses influence us for months, but still the peak energy is over. Yeah. So after this full moon, things should be back to normal. Yeah. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please subscribe, and remember that I offer readings, and so please email me. I was really terrible last month with the readings, so I apologize about that. It took me forever to reply because like someone who was like a family to me, he passed away, and it was really hard for me. Like I grieved that loss, so I do apologize. But this month I'll try to be more responsible with the emails. Like I'll force myself to reply on time. And so yeah, if you guys are interested, please email me, and I hope to see you guys in my December horoscopes. Thank you for watching.